Today we're going to discuss a specific application of probability theory. In studying probabilities of outcomes of specific events, we categorize the assignment of probability in one of three ways. Classical probability, which assumes that all outcomes are equally likely. Relative frequency, or empirical probability, which is based on historic data or direct observation. And subjective probability, which is based on an educated guess or a personal feeling or a gut feeling. In this presentation, we're going to speak specifically about relative frequency method. The relative frequency method is determined by conducting an experiment and documenting the results and using them to determine the probabilities of each outcome. In rolling a fair die, the possible outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And in this experiment, we're tossing a fair die 600 times and documenting the number of times that each one of our outcomes was observed. In this case, we observed a 1 86 times, a 2 102 times, 3 114 times, and so on. Once we document all of those outcomes, we divide each of those frequencies by 600, and that gives us the resulting probability for each of those outcomes. A 1.1433, a 2.1700, a 3.1900, and so on. In our Lucas tool rental example, we rent polishers on a daily basis, and we have rented anywhere from 0 to 4 polishers each day. So in order to determine the probabilities of those outcomes, we selected 40 days and documented the number of times that each one of those outcomes occurred. We rented no polishers on 4 days, 1 on 6 days, 2 on 18 days, 3 on 10 days, and 4 on 2 days, for a total of 40 days. So we have our data, the number of polishers rented, and the number of days for each of those outcomes. To determine the probability, for 0, we divided 4 divided by 40 days for 10% or 0.1, 6 divided by 40 for 0.15, 18 divided by 40 for 0.45, and so on. Notice that the probabilities add up to 1 in this case, since we have documented all possible outcomes and their associated probabilities.